from big groups to small groups, shifting. So we had some beginning of a talk for lunch. So about a matter which has been. I hope you will understand my English. Which has been brought up in Tiru the last days and week with talks here about when you are in some high space of awareness states and suddenly you find yourself down and you don't know what to do with that. So there was some discussion, some talks. I don't put any names, but maybe you're aware of that. So it's in my view, it's essential point to see that whatever we experience at any time is a self-expression, whether it is bliss or kind of depression or with a body, with no body, with a me, with no me, in absence, in presence, it's all expressions of the self. So, but the center of perception, me, has a preference for this kind of experience rather than this one. So then me is running after what is more attractive and running away from what is not so comfortable. So it's a natural tendency. But by doing that, we trap ourselves because it's like the discomfort is a shadow of the comfort. So we trap ourselves and we perpetuate the dream by doing so. So once we realize that, we might see that we are, in spite of all this happenings, always shifting, any state. Sometimes we are very high, sometimes not, sometimes we feel there is no me, sometimes maybe there is a me, maybe even sometimes for one long lifetime there is no me, but then the self continue to appear in ignorance in some other beings. So the awakening of Buddha or Jesus did not really help us because in that sense. So nothing seems to work really, but that's how we perpetuate the dream. So, but by seeing it, then maybe there is a release because we see, oh, I don't have to do anything to be myself, not even to reach myself, not even to realize myself. Nothing is needed for what I am to be that. So that's more like a kind of maybe ultimate message. Not maybe some people are not ready to hear that because first we need to learn to withdraw attention to the center because we are lost in the dream. So teachers will tell us withdraw to the center of perception, who is perceiving, and then when you stay there, we can call this self-inquiry, or we can call this withdraw your attention from where it's coming from. And then we question this one, who is the one who is perceiving, like that. But we can all see that all this happening need time and space to express itself. So they all happen in the dream, in time. If we call it a dream, time and space. So all happenings, even when we do whatever practice, even trying to stay in I amness or whatever we call it. So, but it's not, nothing is wrong, but just to see the difference that what we are does not need anything. As long as we start to beg for something to reach ourselves, then we put ourselves as a beggar. But if we can see, or hear, I like to say, hearing without hearing, to cut the mind discussion, because otherwise we can lose ourselves in non-duality talks, mind talk too much maybe sometimes. So to cut this, I've found a kind of way to express is hearing without hearing and seeing without seeing. The mind cannot understand that. And knowing without knowing. So what here I am that, Tattvam Asi, is that which is beyond the body mind or time and space or whatever, and that what can hear that, hear without hearing. That's or can see without seeing. That's what I would refer to when Jesus speak about if your eyes is single, your whole body will be full of light, or those that ear to hear will hear. So I would refer to this single ear, single eye, or this knowing which just does not need to know. I know, but I don't know. I cannot explain why, but I know I am that. Finish. All explanation is not from that. It's like mind trying to figure it out. But I know, but I don't know. It's like a child heart. So that's so simple that the mind cannot understand. But that's very good because it's out of the way of the mind. So to make it simple. And another thing before, maybe after we can share or whatever, but the how it can be explained, how it started, the first beginning of the dream. So the first I, you can say I awareness, then there is a come as an ego in a body mind. But the first I or the first sound, the first home or whatever, the beginning. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So the beginning I already come out, and then being out of this is absolute nature. Then there is a seed of separation, an idea already because I exist. Then I create some other I. Then I feel separate, and I need what? Attention, because I feel not complete, so I need to complete myself. So I'm begging for love and attention and fulfillment of whatever. So the condition of the I is natural condition is like that. If we try to fix that, then we confirm that it is existing. But by being whatever we are, beyond any understanding, in spite of this I, then we recognize I as a phantom I, which does not need to go. And that's a subtle difference between wanting the I to go, like some people say, the I has to go, it has to die. Then you make it real if you want something to go. But just by seeing, the more you do self-inquiry, you look into it, you will see that his nature is not real. Then who cares about the I to stay or not to stay? And once you see it, then it's not in your hand, because you see that free will is not real, I is not real, so who will try to kill the I or to make it disappear? So once you hear that message, then your job is over somehow, because you heard. You will see even that the movement of bringing back attention to I, self-inquiry, or to meditate, or to do a mantra, or to remember the beloved master, using love as a tool, because even to remember the master, it is still in the dream. It's a tool to hear that message. At the end, when you hear that, I am that, then so. But the dream continue, and then even when you have heard that, maybe I come back, the emotional wound will come back with that also, or the mind commentating about whatever is happening. So we can use some tools. I like to give some simple tools, which is like coming down to the, it's very grounding also. This tool is just to come back to the last dream, which is what is happening, without going into the past or future of the spider spinning. So, for example, some trigger come from outside, and there is an energetic response. So I can call this I can go also. So it's already the spider starting to spinning. then I can go back to the story of the past, my mother, and this and that, and it can go, the web can go very big. But if you minimize to the minimum what is happening and just avoiding to put labels, then even if it feels like I coming back, that you see that the tendency to label this I is there, but just energetic movement like that. So kind of sticking to the last dream of what is happening. The mind will comment. Should I go or should I stay? But we'll know when the body will go there, will be there. Before that, you are never sure. So the last proof of what should happen is when it is actually happening. The rest is just commentaries. Should I not? Should they not? Should the world be like this? Or whatever. So just to notice, all this is within the movie. All the commentaries, all the supposition, or whatever, and also the experience, energetical, emotional experience within, all happening within the dream, and is not wrong or right, but is just happening. Then we see that then it is unfolding, and then what can I do? So there is a double sense of doing which is not real, seems to be free will. There is a feeling of I take decision, but more and more I look into it, the more it is seen as not real. It's an experience of free will, but we need to use it to choose a tea or coffee. But it is not less and less felt like that, like that. It's happening, more like it's happening. But from the absolute I perception, then it's seen as just a movie unfolding, and nothing can be changed. The movie is shooted by itself, and you cannot change it. Even the earth going polluted and this. Some people try to counteract this, and it's good, but it's all happening on its own. What can we change? Like a body will grow old, it has a certain limit to live, like the earth also. So everything is going on as per the life living. So when you see life is living, instead of I have a life, I live my life. So when I is there, strong, then you feel others are also there, strong as rock. There is one rock here, and when somebody else is triggering you by his behavior or words or whatever, if you feel there is somebody there, like that, you feel hard. But the moment if you see there is nobody, then everything goes like, oh, it's just life living. Nobody is doing things really. It appears like that, so it becomes lighter immediately when you see it like that.
I'm not choosing it happened.
Yes, but there is an experience of free will, we can say like that. Experience, I choose, but so you can have a simultaneous experience. It is seen as not real, but at the same time you take a decision. So it's not either or either. You can have multi-dimensional experience. So you can have a personal experience, at the same time you see it's not a real free will, an apparent I, which is not really existing, and even the world you can sense like that also. It seems to happen, but it's not really happening. It's like more like a movie. So you can. So we say usually we have to witness. First we do like that, but then it can be sensed as in French we have a word apercevoir, which is apperceiving. Nisargadatta is using this word apperceiving to make more like a global perceiving. So there is a kind of seeing which is not divided. I see something. It's more like perceiving, but within that perceiving there is, maybe you see a witnessing like that, but it's simultaneous. So or it can shift from only that, or several dimensions at the same time. Like we were talking for lunch also about the space consciousness. So from body consciousness, you can shift to space consciousness. Space consciousness.
Yeah.
Then you can ask who is aware of space consciousness. Is higher awareness? At any stage like that, you can take it for that. And that's the mistake we do sometimes. And teacher teach you that space awareness, the power of now, or whatever, and then higher awareness, or the blank state of non-verbal I am, as Nisargadatta call it. But all this, as Ramana was saying sometime about these states, which only states, and none of them is stable, which can shift from personal to impersonal, but none of them can make you more than what you are now as self. The self cannot improve itself, but is shifting. So to have a global seeing like that, it feels like, yes, whatever, even awakening is in the dream. It happened to a local person. Even somebody who says there is no me anymore, it will not help you. I mean, maybe it will be contagious or something, but then it happens maybe, we could say, to people in the apparent beings in the dream, in the past, but then again, billions of ignorant beings in the dream appears. So it's in the last help, I would say, is to see that nothing helps, because even awakening, the self continue to manifest again and again, and in different form and in ignorance, because it is this play, the self, or that, for the sake of play, shut down his total awareness to experience separation, to have an experience of relative love, of whatever we can experience. So it's a game, as we say in India, lila, the lila of God. So for sake of playfulness, Shiva is playing to be separate. So, and it is like that. So when you see that, say, oh, it's not really happening. It's just playing. So the idea of playfulness is very, in my sense, important to see that even the drama is by playfulness. To fall in a drama of being lost, God, I want to find you, or to be one again, like this. Even this drama of Romeo and Juliet is still playfulness. So if we see it like that, then you see, oh, all is going on perfectly, even the so-called wrong or whatever. So to minimize to the minimum is when something happens, everybody of us, and I'm also a normal guy, I don't pretend to be awakened or anything. So when some stuff happen, you experience some feeling, you could label it loneliness, sadness, anger, whatever you want. But then it's just to not avoid anything, to just observe the tendency of I to avoid what is not comfortable. Just notice the tendency of avoidance and just stay. Don't run from anything. Just stay with whatever is there. And then this is a self autotherapy by the self, which does not need any therapy, but just by staying what you are, things are being arranged as to be arranged. But the idea is that you need to fix something is somehow going away, because you see that it's by itself. You just have to be, and then things happens, comfort, discomfort, shifting. So if you see like that, like a pendulum, so the center, if we call it just a way of expressing, so what we are is, and then the pendulum, comfort, discomfort, a body, no body, absence, presence, high awareness, no awareness, whatever, it's all shifting, but that it's always We are always that in any condition. So we don't need even to be aware to be that. So the mind cannot. Most teacher will teach awareness or whatever like that.
So it is not such a thing as being awakened.
Huh?
So there is no such a thing to be awakened.
In the dream, like someone can
Like
appear.
all the teachers that are talking about being awakened
Yes,
and giving satsang about how to awaken.
Yeah.
So what they are talking about?
maybe they have. If you have an experience of the sense of me is seen as false, fake, not real. So sometimes Ramana speak about this nadi. This the energy is flowing in different nadis, but if it is the more it is the eye is seen as false, or it is dissolving, and then it's only one nadi, and so it seems like an experience of no-me, like that. So maybe you can call that awakening. But it is just a local experience for a certain body, right? At the same time, billions of other bodies in appearance, or in ignorance, or with a sense of I. But what they, even let's say it's happening like that, I don't know. But even that, you experience yourself. You don't have 24 hours of me. Only some time when there is a trigger. But most of the time in the day you are just working or something and there is no sense of me. So that's all. That's not something. So maybe just we could say that if somebody like it's some refer to awakening as big shakti, like you go to a satsang, like some guys was here recently, or Ama or whatever like that, and you just enter the hall and it's full of shakti, and because maybe it's it is their state, whatever they are experiencing. So it is like a contagious disease, but it's just an experience of the self. What we are experiencing now is also an experience of the self. So it can take any energetic form, very high ecstatic energy, or very simple, but it's all the self experience in different ways. You understand?
I try to explain myself.
Yeah?
I for many years, my path of meditation began with somehow with Osho.
Osho.
Yeah, this was my path. Life took me there to Osho. And for many years I was devoting to Osho more than 22 years, last 22 years. Now I came to Tiru. First time I'm in Tiru. And as more as I stay here, and I meet people and talk to friends and this, then I see the most popular game here.
The what?
The most popular game here. Everybody's talking around me.
Yeah.
My experience is talking about he is real, he is not so, he is real, this one is no, like, and everybody knows who is real, who is not real. And
About the gurus, teachers, you mean?
yeah, and suddenly I talk with the people. I ask with some friends, we sit together, and like I start to understand that people have some experience, as I did.
Mm-hmm.
I told you. Sometime before I had like satoris or samadhi, and suddenly I start understand that few people here, I don't know what to say, but this is what we're talking, like have some experience and immediately they become gurus and they become making satsang, and it's confusing because everybody is describing a different experience that happened to him. A different kind of awakening. Like there is not one awakening that happened. But before that, when I was with Osho, I felt something very deep from the beginning. Like Osho, all the way he was inspiring me to awake myself. Then nothing will be same as it was before. Like the complete and all the way. These words I can use now.
And now?
And now I find so many. Now I meet after so many years. I meet many gurus like Muji. Since 1 year ago, I started watching his video. Also, I feel. Then I thought I was with Maharishi Kaf a few times. Something I feel, but not same. Then I was with
Not same as Osho, you mean?
Yeah.
But you see,
No.
so now we talk about what was happening with Osho, right?
Yeah.
And then what happened with Muji, or what happened with
Not this I'm talking. I'm talking about the feeling of authenticity.
Yeah, but now, you
Now
see,
I'm talking about the authenticity.
yeah, but what is your experience now just now, not going back into the past? What I was expressing is all is a self-expression. So what you experience now is a self-experiencing itself like that, right? But the self is the same as when in a show or with Muji or with anybody. The self is not changing.
No.
But the experience and now is the same. Now with Muji, with Osho, with any time. The self is not changing, but the experience is changing. That's all. So then, when you recognize that, you do not get attached with any specific experience, whether with Osho, Muji, or now, or any time. You do not attach with anything. You are the self in any situation. With a body, no body. With a pain, no pain. With a me, no me. Absence, presence, deep sleep, any condition. Ecstatic time with Ama, Muji, or simple time, maybe like now. Self. It's all the self. Then if you recognize just that you are that in all these experiences, and you don't look for something more or something looking more like in the past with Osho. You see, there is still expectation that it should be like this or like that. But the self has no preference. It's now, you are that now without preference. And you don't run after anything. Otherwise you will make yourself a beggar. You see? Then it's easy. You don't need to run after anybody, anything. You are complete as a self now. Whether it is big Shakti, ecstatic, or simple, or difficult emotion, or whatever. It's all, you are always that. Then you are the self which does not need anything. This body can go to see a guru or not, go to Ramana. Yes, you will go and have experiences. But for the self, which you are, is no different. That's freedom. Otherwise, it's not.
The thing is that I understand what you say, and I experience that self itself is that it doesn't change, no matter what. If I go here, if the body goes there, but still strong identify the body, and still strong identification with the body. I identify me as the body most of the time.
Yeah, so you're going to do self-inquiry?
And like in some way I have an expectation that this will be
Should not be there.
different.
Yes.
Yeah, it will change. So my identification with the
Louder.
body will become
Less.
minimum.
Yes. But
I
then,
don't say it all, but
Yes.
for minimum.
so at this point, what to do? I would advise you to look who is the one who wants this identification to be less. Look at the one who wants. is not wanting identification to be less, because you are still, I want this identification to be less. Look at the one. This is a self-inquiry.
Who is the one who has the expectation?
Who is the one who has the expectation, who wants this identification to be? This is where your attention should be in that case. And look, stay there. Don't move from there. Who is the one who wants this to be different?
Who wants to not identify?
Who wants this to be different? Because I is the one who wants things to be different. So look at it. This is self-inquiry, very basic, simple, but bringing back attention to the one who is perceiving, who is expecting. And you cannot do anything else. You just stay there, look at this one, and stay there. You can use some other tools, maybe meditation, mantra, bhakti, whatever, going around, whatever you like. But who is this one who wants things to be different? At the beginning, it's good that this I has a willpower to go out of his misery. So it's a starting point. I put effort to go out, like a rocket. First, to go out of the floor, it uses a lot of energy to leave the floor. Effort, But then at some point, you don't put any effort. So now maybe you just look who is the one who wants identification to not be there. And further than that,
all the gurus.
huh?
All the gurus have
Yes.
been in the last weeks talking about this identification, like saying you are identified, and you need to shift.
Yes, but they make you a beggar somehow. By wanting this to be different, I would rather say, look at the one who wants
so all
this.
gurus I start now when I understand this, like they are false. So why? It's hard to accept that all these gurus are false. Also, Ramana, I think, will speak about this, like identification with the body, and
You can understand maybe that there is a subtle.
it's like
You can come. You want for yoga for what? Oh yeah.
it's like I understood, but it's like I have to throw away all what all the guru says, since even Osho, even Muji, even Ramana, and this is like difficult.
No. Then if it's difficult, you put back your attention again, so you don't either you don't buy the thought. It's difficult, or you put the attention on who is feeling is difficult. Always the same. Always the same. Always come back like that. If you are sitting and you see it as a supermarket, and you decided I don't want to buy anything from that supermarket. So many thoughts are coming, I don't buy. You just say to the owner of the supermarket, I'm bankrupt now, I have no money on my bank account, I cannot buy anything from your stuff. So any thought coming, you don't buy. No money, sorry. No money, sorry. You don't buy anything, and then what's left? You don't buy. Yes.
So
It's just
what to do with the money?
no. You have no money because you don't need. You are perfect in yourself. So I'm joking. So
I feel like I have money, and I should buy something, but nothing to buy.
yeah, because it's a survival instinct. So to stay alive, I need to buy some stuff from the supermarket. Some thoughts, some ideas, some doing, sadhana. So it's like that. I need to do something. That's why the guru tell you to do something. If they tell you are that, you cannot hear it. Then they will tell you do self-inquiry, do meditation, do something, because you believe you have the doership to do something. So that you have to do something. So they tell you, yes, do something. Do self-inquiry, search for yourself, like that. Because you cannot hear, you are that, I am that. So to speak to the doer. It's a game. If you see as a game, it's just a game. And another thing you can see, I don't talk about any teacher guru, but whoever pretend to be in some state, then, and you have to reach there.
Everybody's in some kind
No.
of state because he's the guru.
No,
By
no,
the definition that he is the guru,
no, I disagree. Some
No?
people are talking just self to self, no position. I don't speak as anything. I don't pretend anything, just self to self, right? But some will speak about seemingly about the self, but they will also talk about awareness, consciousness, some state of consciousness, making you feel yes, that you have to reach there, or you have to get rid of your me. Whatever they will tell you like this. Yes, welcome.
Thank you.
Whatever.
You are being late.
Yes. You was worried without you.
This is a little bit confusing because you say, even you first define yourself as the teacher, as the guru, because you're sitting here and you advertise, you put some flyers and this, like it means I know something, I share something, I know something, I share something that can be a benefit for you.
Yes,
So
but
it's some kind of, putting myself. I'm careful with the words I pick, but it's some kind of telling. I have something, I read something, I know something that you probably don't know, and I want to share with you.
so it's not about knowing, it's more sharing his message about recognizing that you are that, a simple recognition without needing to understand. I know I'm that, I don't need to know how or what or like that. So it's not about speaking with words. The words has no really intention to convince about something. They are more pointing to that which is beyond words. The words cannot catch it. But it's like a double language. So you speak words, mind to mind or person to person, but there is a second language, hidden, secret, more like self to self. And this is just self talking to self. And then when it is, you how do you know when it has been heard, released, this is a certainty, there is no doubt. The mind will always doubt, I'm not sure, come back, I doubt, I'm not sure. But when this has been heard, is a certainty which billions of people cannot check. Nothing can check that because it's not about this dream. It's something which is not in the dream, which is hearing itself. So this cannot be checked. I know I'm that, I don't know, I cannot prove it. I am that, that's all. When it's heard, it's heard. It's not, you don't need to understand anything for that. And this is cannot be checked by anything. Like in the Bhagavad Gita, they say it cannot be burnt, it cannot be cut, it cannot be killed. This is that, you are that, and it cannot be raped by anything. It happened to me one time to speak to a lady like that, and it happened to her to be raped. But then I was speaking with these words to that, and I told what you are was never raped. And I could see in her eyes that she could feel it, like it was heard. What a relief to see, okay, maybe the person has experienced that, but what you are is as pure and virgin as ever. So So whatever the dream is affecting the person is not touching what I am. It's untouchable. That is a real treasure, because what I am cannot be touched. I can dream anything. I can dream the worst things as the absolute dreamer. It will not touch what I am. That's why I allow myself to dream that, because it will not touch. It's not touchable. Then the worst can happen. The concentration camp, the war, the killing, the what, it will not touch that. So I don't say it's good or bad. I don't say concentration camp is good or whatever. Yeah. When this is a message like that, but people can teach different things about awareness, and you can feel when there is a kind of control needed to maintain a certain level of awareness or consciousness, something, and to stay there. I had a teacher like this, my first guru, who died in 2005. As I perceive it, he was very high awareness and pure light, and when he was coming to huge thousands of people satsang, it was like just light and so powerful and like that. But then after some years, I was even a preacher in his name to give talks and like that. But something happened, and I saw some bad things, we say, like happened to many gurus. So my understanding was like, when you pretend to be somewhere, you have to show up a face matching with that state, but anytime it can fall. So all these levels, even the highest gurus, there is gurus who will teach that state. But now what we are talking about, there is no guru, no teachers. In that message, there is no guru, no teacher. It's different. Because then who can fall? Because I don't pretend anything. I don't pretend to be realized. I would call this a beggar, because I in the dream will always be separate, and I cannot go out of the dream. It belongs to the dream. So, like Ramsurat Kumar, I prefer to call this a beggar, a dirty beggar. This is a dirty beggar. Then it's clear. I'm not realized. I'm not awakened. I'm a dirty beggar.
But I feel after more than 20 years with Osho, he's doing the same, but he said, instead of saying I'm the beggar, he's saying I'm the emperor, the emperor. I'm not the beggar, I'm the king. But same, but to the opposite, you know?
Yeah, but he's speaking more like as
self.
self.
Like said, he know, because he said also what you say. He said I'm nothing. And the message
I don't say I'm nothing.
No, the message is nothing to teach. The message is nothing really to teach. This is this and that's it. He say it also. Then he took it to the way that I don't have to be the beggar, because all the tradition gurus were beggars. And he said, deliberately, he said, I want to show something different. That's why 99 Rolls Royce, that's why Rolex, that's why this big swimming pool. Because he said, it's not must to be the beggar shape.
Yeah, but
I can do it with a different shape.
I'm saying
because
that.
beggar is also shape.
Yes, but you see, words are more like a pointing. If you stay with the words, then it's not the intention. It's more like a pointer. When I say it's a beggar, it's a way to express that there is no pretension to be an awakened being or something like that, because it's still, even if it happens, it's still in the dream. Only the self can recognize itself, which does not need to be awakened. So putting to a beggar is just like to show that, oh, I'm a normal guy, like that, and there is nothing special. Nothing special. And I feel when you can relate with someone who is like you, then you can relate, instead of putting someone high on the stage, who has a big Shakti, and then you will have the Shakti for a week, and then you go back home, and then you will be depressed. What is the real help? No, all is self-experience itself in different ways, and then you, for example, in my case, I feel I've been playing the game running after gurus, but now I feel, because I see it coming, it's like you look for ice stuff, and then you go down like this, and then say, oh, and you look running always. So, but then you say, oh, what? Anything is fine. Everything is self-experiencing itself. Even like now, in a simple way, it's self-experiencing itself. What more than that? Always mind wants more. More bliss, more Shakti, more love, more this.
Have you been always with this understanding, with this?
No,
have you been since child?
No,
always recognizing this?
I could say like a few years ago I could really hear this message clearly, not as a person, but something heard it like clear. It's like just simple, there is nothing need to be, some people talk about something very big. Just like we can say like many people in Tiru recognize that, have recognized that, just you recognize, and it's like, I'm that, So simple, it's very simple, So I've been in a path where you have to meditate a lot to reach different kind of regions on the inner light and sound meditation. I've been 25 years on that, where you have to reach Satchkan, which is the true home, beyond the mind, beyond Brahm, beyond Par Brahm, like that. And then beyond Satchkan there is some other stage which is Anami, which is no name, it's like beyond the beyond, like this. And then my last teacher, I was initiated by him in 2012. His name is Ishwapuri. He's 93 now. He's living in India. He's in Chicago. He's an Indian. And then he said, the meeting with him was like coming back to Advaita, but having gone through all this, trying to reach so many things, and then, because I was here in 94 in Tiru a long time ago, and then I went through that path, and then coming back, and everything joined together, and this Ishwapuri make the circle round, I would say, to tell me, no, only the last meeting I had with him 3 months ago, he said only the self is real. All is made up. So nothing matters. It's all in the dream. Only the self is real. And he is teaching all this plane to reach, to meditate like this. But if you are ready to hear that, he will tell you that also. But usually, like Ramana, he would say to people, meditate. With few people, he will just even not talk. Self, we speak to self without talking. If it's not working, then maybe use words. If it's not working, then self-investigation. If it's not working, meditation, mantra, like this. But at the end, what is the original message is you're that. And it can, without words, with some people, few people, there is some stories with Ramana that it happened. One guy came, I heard a story from Ganesha in the ashram. I went to a satsang. And a man from the West came, American maybe.
Robert.
Robert
Harris.
I don't know who, but he came and, no, maybe not him, because he came 3 hours in front of Ramana, not talking, looking at each other, or mostly like that, in silence. And after 3 hours he left, he never came back. And people said, what happened? He said, it was enough. Just 3 hours and no talking, no words, he went back. So, what was the message? Just Tatwamasi. You're that. The rest is blah 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 blah. So you're that, and the dream continue, and like that. But for most of people, like this dirty beggar, no, like most of us. Then I come back, and the stories and the emotional wounds and all this stuff we are used to experiment. But then, so another tip I like to share is just when it happened to dream, to go back into the dream. The moment you realize you went into the dream, if you kind of forget, then when you come back, say, oh, I've just been dreaming. Then you don't judge yourself. And if you judge, if the mind is judging, you don't need to buy it, you let it. But you don't go into it and you just, oh, just dream happen. But more and more, if you do like that, then even while you are in some triggering emotion, there is this kind of global seeing, which is not separate seeing, like I see something. But you are more in this perceiving, like Nisargadatta is talking, perceiving, and at the same time maybe an emotion is experimented, but this is seen, and you don't want to change it. You don't want to fix it, just perceived. So whatever comes, self is there, but then something come and go. Thoughts, emotion, movie, love story, pain, no pain, too much pain, not enough pain, like that. And in this perceiving, then the movie is shooting. Then it becomes simple because you don't have to do anything. You stay as you are and it's just unfolding. And the fixing happens by itself in the dream. Even if you go to a therapist or healing, or it can happen, but the intention is different. In my experience, I've been meditating since 25 years or more, something like that. But now if meditation happens, it happens. But there is not an idea to reach something or to be liberated or anything like that. So that's a big difference. Even self-inquiry, bring back attention to I or anything. Or I can receive a massage like I did 2 days ago from Raja here, or whatever. But just the idea that it has to be different, or just more happening like that, but not with the intention that, oh, I need to get liberated, or I need to reach something. I want to find the state I was 20 years ago with Osho. Or no, it's all now, the self experiencing itself perfectly as it is. And even if there is an intention to change something, and it happens, then you see it like you perceive this I wanting to change something, but you don't mind even that. You see, so it just.
And you constantly live in India, or
Sorry?
You live in India, or you just come from some country?
I come from some country, and I live in India for 5-6 months,
Ah, okay.
half of the time.
Is it different for you to live in India, like maybe not everywhere in India, but here? In
Spiritually,
Europe?
you mean?
Yes.
No, I mean, it's 25 years I've been doing that trip, like some other people, but so now it's mostly the same, because you are used to it, whether culture-wise or spiritually-wise. It's like no, it's different in a way, in appearance, but it's.
I'm asking. I think you get what I'm asking. I'm asking about this, like when you are like, okay, mind is calm, everything is good, and then you go back to your country, and somehow it's like
Big mess.
slowly you go to
down.
some kind of you state you don't like.
Yeah. No, yes.
Into the dream, deep into the dream, like I can say.
Maybe not into the dream, like
Like
the
in the
awareness
beginning.
can be, but it's like into the pain, like struggling, some kind of like you see that okay, maybe I shouldn't like run too much in my work or something, but it might happen. And here in the energy of this Ramana, all the Ramana field and everywhere is like very easy to keep center.
So come here. Stay here. Don't come back. Why you come back all the time? I'm telling you because I tell myself. Because I know what you're talking about. I have this experience when I come back to my country. Because last 3 years, I'm on and off, on and off.
But I noticed in my case it's evening, like first trips it's like India, West is like wow, like that. Each time is very difficult to adjust. And with time it's like, and inside also spiritually I would say it's also evening. Everything is more and more same, no difference much. It's different but not so much different like that. So
are you doing any satsangs in your country?
I was doing yes, I've been doing, but I plan to do more. I think in France I have more thing to do about that. Yes, more than in Tiru, because in Tiru so many teachers and big head and like that. But in France not so many teaching of that kind. Some, but not as much as in English. In English is like so many. But of this kind of message is not so many. So I think I will start. Since last year, some people told me to start more to talk about this like that. But probably when I come back, I will do more. Yes, more, because I met some group of French people, and so I know some people here and there like that. But many people are happy to hear that message. It's like, yes, some people when you eat the first time, because when you heard it, you kind of know when it's heard, and it's so beautiful to see that, and people are so happy. Wow, it's like such just joy to hear that, and it's like I never heard that. It's like a special sound, like a bell sound. And say, oh. Then, of course, afterwards, the mess come back, and like this, it's just kind of shift at some point, and then it will continue as it has to continue.
Are you doing some kind of guidance, like mujadas,
like what?
Like mujadas, sitting with some people and just guiding how they can see themselves?
Yeah.
Like the invitation, you mean?
Not the invitation, just one when.
No, I do.
Look there, look there.
Yeah,
look,
yes, exactly. It's what I do here. That's why I combine talks and sessions. So I advertise it as a Chinet song, abdominal massage and Thai massage, but it's more excuses, because I before I talk, and I go from the personal then to the satsang space. So, and then if touch is needing, when we do massage or not, but it's going together, because then when you do any pressure, anything like Chinet song is, you invite the body, mind to release what you want to release, but just an invitation to like that. But before, it's going from personal to satsang space. So I ask the person, what is the thing most challenging for you, you would like to get rid of? I start like this, and then going to question that, and seeing from a different angle, and so on, like that. Yes, and that's not very nice to do. Yes, same like here, but one-to-one. And then either going with touch or not, just talking like that. Yes, so. But it's the same process, whether you touch the body and press. You could just do like that, or just you sit, you are here, just an invitation to that message to be heard somehow, an invitation in the dream to the system to release whatever idea it has, or tension, or whatever like that. So you can use both at the same time. Share that message and if in the dream the person need in his story to release something, then it can. But so it's a double.
For me, it's very interesting about your spiritual journey. Maybe these guys have already heard, but with those gurus, why were you running after these gurus?
Because I was seeking for truth. No, I was still putting in time that I need to be liberated. I need to be out of the wheel of karma. I want this to be finished. When I was young, I was playing in a rock band, and I was drugging, alcoholing, everything bad, and like that. And I was feeling if God has created, if there is a God who has created this world, I'm better than him, because I would have made this world much better than this. That was my thinking. So I was very honest, I would say. That's already to be true to speak like that. If you see this world as this up and down, and God has created that, you see, no, I don't want of that God. If you see it as real, right? I don't want of that world. People killing. Our man can rape a woman. How is it possible? No. So I cannot accept that. I will never accept that. No, I don't want a
It's
God.
for the second time you repeat this, and here I have the question because
Yes.
I even thought, like, especially in India, where it's not so safe for women, it's like sometimes the thought comes that everything I can accept, like somebody kills myself, is maybe it's possible to be in a spiritual state and then to be calm. But with this thing, it's like the body itself says no, this thing is very bad, like raping, no. It would be the worst thing in the world.
Experience, yes.
Yes.
So what we can do is, with this seeing that life is living itself and there is not a real control on what is happening. So I cannot avoid if when I cross the street then a car is shooting this body, then you relax because you see, I have no power to control. So instead of stressing, being anxious, say, okay, whatever has to happen will happen. I just have to just relax. You can be careful, take some precaution, but then relax, because with this awareness that you have no real control. So, like that, and then it's also an invitation to self-inquiry, to look at this fear or stress like that, and you are looking at that. Any situation, like Buddha would say, the situation is a vehicle. So in the dream, the situation is a vehicle. So you're always in the perfect situation to put your attention back on the one who is fearing or whatever, or wanting things to be different, with the one who wants to change, or to think he has a control on anything. So always the same place, the center of perception. And it's funny because everyone is experiencing the center of perception as himself. So the center is here, and then you say, oh no, it's here. And everybody is the center of perception. So it's the absolute perception has divided itself in so many camera points, and there is so many centers in appearance. So, and I cannot see from this or this camera. So that's interesting experience. But what we can do is, because attention is, the relative attention is flowing into time and space. So attention can be on outer objects. You can bring back attention to the center, so you have an apparent control on that. You can use your apparent free will to use attention. Oh, it can be there, I can take it back, then it's going back, or whatever like that. But where it's coming from? Attention. So instead of putting attention in meditation we say put your attention on some object. Now you can change the idea, withdraw attention from where it's coming from the absolute attention. Absolute attention is not divided, but once the first eye comes and is separated from other objects, then it's a separated attention. So it's a relative attention. But we are, in essence, the absolute attention. This is this perceiving which is not divided. I perceive that. No, it's absolute. I am absolute attention. Dreaming to be separate for the sake of play. Even drama. Like we go to the movie and sometimes we go, oh, today I want to go to see an horror movie. Next day I want to go see a love story. Next day I want to see a drama. So the self.
But even in the life there is this kind of theory, like according to the book The Secret, like that we manifest everything we want. Like if somebody rapes me, for example, that means I want it somewhere or something like this.
But it's already the spider spinning. If you don't go that far, you just stay with what is happening now. And then you don't, if the mind tends to go into the spinning, like to make a web of stories, it means that, and going to the past and future like that. If we don't go into that, you see the mind spinning, right? But again, you don't need to buy it. You stay and you see the mind spinning. So many stories, always stories. So, but you don't need to buy them because you have no money. Remember? So it becomes very simple. So I like to share in a simple way because I've also seen many ways of presenting things. So I try to make it simple, like going straight to the point and essence, and trying to make it not complicated and simple. So I don't know if it's enough simple, but I try to make it simple. And then you realize you are the satisfaction itself. If you see that it's all self-experience, always the self-experiencing itself in any situation, like now, then you are the satisfaction itself. Whether the I is satisfied or not, always this pendulum shifting, satisfied, not satisfied. I want to die or want to exist. So the survival instinct of I want to exist. But sometimes I want to not be there because it's so good without me. So this double tendency, I want to die, I want to exist. So we have to be what we are in spite of this crazy schizophrenia of I, not knowing I want to die, I want to live. And sometimes we think we are afraid of dying, but maybe we are more afraid of living, in the sense of experiencing whatever is there, the loss of somebody I love, or the loss of this body, of whatever I like. So I'm afraid to live. Maybe more afraid to live than to die. So, because I'm afraid to live, then I arrange so many masks, so many things around me to protect me, to not feel what is there. So I protect myself in so many ways, so many armors like that. So to be absolutely relative means to recognize this mask, these protections, these armors, and to let them fall if they will, and to be absolutely relative. If anger is there, whatever is there, let life live itself. Don't try to change anything. Because this is what we have been doing. My mom, my dad has been telling me, don't be angry, don't cry. So when this, do not do that, don't cry, don't be angry, where that energy is going, somewhere in the system, in the body, mind, in the memories, and then we go to the therapist to relieve that. Or when I am with my partner, I will shout on her, but she has just been triggering some stuff which was in the system not expressed. So what we are doing as a child, and they do it less in India, they don't tell so much to the children to not cry, to not be angry, as we do in the West. So now it's an invitation to, there is something we cannot do. We cannot poo on the table of the restaurant. So there is some limit. But somehow to be absolutely relative. So
we can eat with the hand.
Huh?
We can eat with the hand.
To be absolutely relative means just to yes, it's a. I am that expressing itself in the dream like that, yes. And so just to, because probably you have been, number of you, to talks with many people, much Shakti and love and like this, but in my sense, what is important to recognize is what is here now, even very simple, is as much an expression of the self as in any other situation. This is very important to catch that.
Again?
Huh?
Again?
I repeat?
Yeah.
That even if you have been with in some very big satsang or talks or with Ama or like this, with big Shakti, love, whatever bliss you have experienced, to recognize that what is here now is as much an expression of the self, not less, even if it appears in a different form or simple. It is as much an expression of the self as in any other form. Only the idea that some expression is better than another one is a mistake to run after something. But when you see that nothing is better than something else, just appearing better, the mind label it better. But to have to be with whatever appears and recognize it as an expression of the self now, and to be satisfied with it or not, but to recognize it as an expression of the self.
I have a question about this Shakti thing. Is it different when you like experience yourself, or you are in the field of some very strong teacher? You mentioned, for example, Ama, like much Shakti, and you are like overwhelmed with this. Because it is said that Guru's power and you are kind of one and the same, but for you, would you say it's different when you feel just yourself?
It's different, but both are experiences. What I'm talking about is not this or that. Both are just different experiences. In your room alone, or here, or with Ama, or whoever, it's just different experiences. But in any case, it is the self expressing itself. Whether you're in the bathroom, or with Ama, or in India, or in the West, or it's always, there is nothing which is not the expression of the self. You're always bathing in the self. As Kabir was saying, you are like a fish being thirsty in water. It's so funny. He was speaking like that. We are all is the self experiencing itself. You're always like a fish in the ocean who's calling for water. Where is water? Where is water? Because he thinks that it has to take a specific form, looking for bliss or this or that or better comfort. I don't want discomfort, I don't want this. But expression of the self in this manifestation, you have to embrace both comfort, discomfort, bliss, not bliss. Everything is part of it. And the real bliss is to see that you don't need any specific form. Otherwise, it's a depending bliss. Only when I go to the talks with Satyam or to Ama or whatever, then I feel like that. Or if I, then you make yourself depending on something. For some time it's okay, but you may realize that it's still a dependency. But what you are is not dependent on anything. Your nature is absolutely full in itself, in any circumstance. This is a real, your freedom always, in any time, in any circumstance. Whether in your room or with Ama or anything. And then it's released because you say, oh, I don't need, yes, it's fine. I'm there, it's fine. I'm there, it's fine. I'm there. Any state, you are that. That's amazing. Any state you experience, you are that. You're immovable. And we can watch, the movement of the mind, the tendency to go into the past. Yes, 20 years ago when I was with Osho. Always, just notice, not judging, just see the tendency. Or when I was there, I was experiencing this and that. Or this. Always the mind is comparing and judging. You see that commentaries, but at the same time you are in this absolute seeing that it's all self-expression now, and all these commentaries of the mind also. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. Nothing can go wrong from this absolute perception. Nothing can go wrong. Then you say, oh, nothing can go wrong. Wrong is just a mind view. Something can go wrong. Like this teacher Ishwapuri told me a few years ago. I was lucky he could tell me this thing. First, one thing he told me is, you have been doing so many things in this life, in past life. What if from now you said, I'm not going anywhere, I'm not doing anything. I let the body mind do whatever it has to do, but I'm done. So it's like self-to-self talk, right? Let the body mind do its stuff. Yes. And then, just the next time I met him, he said, I asked him, do I do any mistake in meditation or practice? He just laughed and said, there is no mistake. There is no mistake. But, you see, when it is said like that, it's charged and reach you at the right moment, and just like that, there is no mistake. So, relatively, there is mistake. But from this talking, self to self, there is no mistake. And when you can hear that, yes. But you cannot say that to anybody, a criminal or something, who will not say that. Or to a child, you have to tell me it's wrong to cut the finger of your brother. Like that. So, but we hear these kind of things, which is like a total relaxation, and when we can hear that. But most of the time we need to practice a lot and search a lot and this, and then. But there is no specific form or steps or anything like this. I feel that the self is free to express itself in any way, so it can happen like Ramana. He has a big something happening when he was teenager, or anything, any shape. There is no specific form or like that. That's the beauty of it. So, but maybe I would say what is unique and common is when this recognition or this Tattvamasi, you are that, is heard, that is common beyond all practices or whatever. Because it's evident. When it's heard, it's evident, and there is this certainty. Then as many teachers say, what to do. So what to do? See where as you maybe you know that. See where you don't know where to go. Look at your feet. So.
Same as they say, you don't know what to eat, look at your plate.
And see if you will eat it. Maybe you will have a plate, you will not. You don't know until the last moment if you will eat it. When you order a plate,
Yes,
maybe a
many
asteroid.
times I don't know what to eat here. I think what to eat. Then I eat something.
So maybe that's the first stage. Many people say what to do. For you is what to eat, what you eat. Anything? Because you came in. Anything you want to share? Or? You're in silence? Ah. That's why we heard so much noise. This silence is so audible. Thank you. So we are not disturbing you by talking in your silence? Your silence is not breakable? Yeah, it's another expression of the self, silence. Sometimes I like to do that for a few days or one day or something like that, not talking. But when you see that you have no real choice to talk or not talk, then you're fine with both. Then it's all an expression. Do I need what?
Do you need for living? Do you need any money, or you are just like, okay, if some food comes, then?
No, I steal people. I steal in shops.
I don't know. Maybe they give you something.
No. I told you I give some one-to-one sessions.
Ah, okay.
And also, yes, so I work like that. Yes. And sometimes I work with some groups, I told you. So, and yes. Last year I worked with a friend who do some fasting retreats, but including was meditation, yoga, tai chi. I was giving talks and one-to-one session. I was working with her like this. So that was nice to do that, yes. So people who come for 1 week. So they pay for 1 week retreat like that.
But you always were the one who has money in the spiritual way, or you were like a hippie style, like maybe sometimes not eating for a day or two?
Me?
Yes.
No, I need to eat because I'm Vata, so more Pitta Vata. So I cannot fast for long, maybe 2 days or something, but I cannot fast for a long time. So, but yes, in the past I've been working more and having more money. Now I'm on the lower edge, but I'm fine. I can live minimum comfort, not too much, but that's enough. But I see, behind with this, I perceive that it's happening. So I'm aware that it's life organized things, So it's not apparently you need to organize, but life is organizing things as it has to be. So the more you hear that message, and you Tattwamasi like that, then the more then the worries goes also, because you see that you cannot. It's unfolding by itself. So you have no power to change the movie.
So no stress, like not thinking like I won't have money and so on.
But it's not, even if there is, it's not really taken as real. It's more like you watch thoughts, not even a feeling or like that, but it's not really taken as real. So it's joining the idea of identification. How much I is there in your thought, in your feelings, like that. So it's more like it's seen as happening like that. So and with that, of course, it's like a natural trust in life, because you are life. It's not that I have a life that I can lose, but I am life. So then life is living itself. Then there's a natural how to self-trust, we can say, or whatever. It can take any form. And it can take any direction, and you plan something, it would take another like this. You never know how you will lose a leg or something. I don't know. But then you start to think about how it will be to be without one leg. You already, but you will, if it happens, then you will see it.
So you can also be very rich.
Sorry?
So you can also be very rich
Yes, you don't know.
with 90 Rolls Royce.
Yes. I don't have this. I don't understand this even. You know, for me it's like, why to do that? Have 90 Rolls Royce like Osho? I don't. It's like so far from.
Well, why not?
Why not? But yeah. Yeah. She's in silence.
But laughing is not silence, so you can't laugh.
Huh?
Is laughing?
Yes, she's laughing. So I don't know what time is it?
5:30.
Huh?
5:30.
5:30. So if you have any sharing or question or anything.
I was sharing about the topic that you brought up twice about a woman being raped. A woman that was raped
Raped,
in
yes.
Australia.
Yes.
So halfway through the ordeal, she realised herself.
After that.
Halfway through, like she was being actively raped, like in Byron Bay. It's a very popular area in Australia for
Byron Bay,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And halfway through, she. This is just what I've read about her, and she's now a teacher.
What do you mean by
Halfway through the act of being raped,
Oh.
she realised herself. So she just. This is what a biography says, that she
Yeah.
realised herself, and instantaneously she felt nothing but love for the person that was attacking her.
Yes.
And he stopped the act. And from that moment I was like, wow, that was one of the most amazing things I'd ever read about. Now this woman still does, she teaches in Byron Bay about...
She's sharing that.
Yeah, the experience, exactly
Yeah.
the same way that we all like to do, is share our experiences.
So it can take any shape like that,
Yeah,
even, you
yeah.
see. So we don't know how it can express itself. Yes. And I feel, like I was talking, I gave a session to an Indian Swami here, a one-to-one session, because he had a Kundalini awakening, and he's living near your place, I think, not too far. And he was it was 10 years ago or something, I don't know. But he had a Kundalini awakening. But he told me he has at that moment he had a fear of that Kundalini awakening. So what happened when there is a fear, in my understanding, that the fear locates somewhere in the body. So he has a big hard stuff in the stomach, and his leg is paralyzed and so on, is in bad shape. But what I want to express is that when in a very difficult situation, if there is, because it happened to me last year after an operation in hospital, and I had also this fear of death, and it located somewhere in my body also. That's why I could understand what happened to him somehow. But when this lady was raped, you said, and there was no resistance, what I feel is no resistance, totally open. Then you don't know what energy can do. But if fear comes, and it's stopping the experience to be complete and to be open to whatever. But the fear is blocking the experience and making, I don't want to experience that. And that's what we do all the time when I don't want to experience sadness, loneliness, anger, or anything, or loss. So I'm afraid to feel that, so I'm blocking the experience. So the idea is to not block, to see the tendency of the mind to avoid and to be totally open. That's why my sense, why she experimented that, because there is no, just open. And then we cannot explain it, but just we can say about that, she was not feeling it. Something.
But this himself is not controlling, like in this point, what we have to do is not blocking.
Just observe the tendency of avoidance. This is
instead of
not in our case, because in our case it's going so fast, it's just a process which we happening by itself. But there was no resistance, obviously. But in another situation, when we have time to consider it like this, we can just in the daily life observe the tendency of avoidance. Any feeling, any situation, always I tend to avoid to feel what is here. I tend to not want that. This tendency of avoidance. Because I want comfort and not discomfort. So I run after comfort and run away from discomfort. That is the attitude, right?
Is it just happening, or this is something I have to navigate by?
Not just recognize the tendency of I to prefer comfort than discomfort. Just notice it. Not trying to fix it. Just recognize his nature to run after comfort and run away from discomfort. Just notice it. Not trying to change it. It is his nature, but am I really this I? By noticing it, you already withdraw somehow.
This is also something that's confusing me. So, like, many teachers talking about the doer and not doing, but the noticing is not also kind of
Yes. It is part. It
of
is
the doing.
yes.
So
And doing and not doing is also for I, because the self has no idea of. Self is just being. There is no idea of doing. So doing or not doing is only for I.
it's only for the
For self, there is
person,
no.
yeah.
It's neither doing or not doing. Only we speak to the mind or I, doing or not doing. So like Shakespeare would be or not to be. So you are what you are in spite of to be or to ask this question, to be or not to be. But you have to use your mind to ask the question, to be or not to be. Or to do or not to do, right? So you can notice just a thought, to be or not to be, it's just a thought. To do or not to do is just a thought for the mind. But for what you are, it has no meaning, really. If you use this practice, as I did the other day, I don't know, from Stephen Volinsky, he's doing, if you don't, we can do this short exercise like this, if you don't use your thought, if you don't use your memories, if you don't use your emotions, if you don't use your perception, association, if you don't use your intention and attention, are you a man or a woman? If you really don't use this, you cannot reply. So it's called the blank state or non-verbal I am. So not using the mind.
This is exactly the invitation, but
It's come back.
different.
Yes, but that this Stephen Volesky is much older than what Muji is doing. This was the older stuff. But anyway, it's the same
Nothing
idea.
is new, huh?
No, but this way of expressing, I'm telling you, the way of expressing is is doing workshop like that. So just to show that state, it is good to mention that because even the invitation is showing a state, it's not the self, and people mistake it for the self. So the invitation can be misleading. It's nice to experience this blank state, but to call it the self is wrong because it's still a state. That's a mistake to take it as a state.
You mean
As that.
observing state?
Huh?
Like observing state? Like when you are just an observer, you mean?
No, I mean this state when you cannot pronounce anything, or like the invitation where you have everything has been taken away, and what is left, like
It's
that,
only this.
Huh?
What is left is this.
is this, but it is not right. I thought also it's the self, but it's not. And it's, for me, it's like a state. This blank state, or what Nisargadatta calls the non-verbal I am, is still a state. So you can shift from body consciousness to space consciousness to eye awareness to blank state. All this is like states on appearing on the self. But the self is none of them. But if you take it at that, even this blank state, then you want to reach that and you want to stay there. It's another trap. No, the self is always expressing itself in any state. You see? Otherwise you still postpone. Oh, only when I do that I am that. You know? No. Again, you are trapped like the priest tell you you go to heaven if you do right. It's another trap. Again, postponing. No, then when you are tired, you don't buy any postponing. I am that in any state. Whether my mind is messy or in a blank state, with the invitation, with whatever, I'm that in any state. I don't need any state to be that. Then you're not dependent on any state.
Even if I don't understand this, an invitation.
Yes, because you still make you a beggar, depending on some circumstances, specific stuff. What you are does not depend on any state or circumstances. That is the message. And that don't make you as a beggar. You don't need to reach that because you're already that. You don't need any state. So that when you can hear that, it's beautiful. Or even that I don't need. If it's there, it's welcome. So it's in a way magic to see that. But it's important. I've been seeing these things in order to now see the whole picture. That all this is even a very high awareness. Like we had the chance to hear the report, Karl Renz had been this 10 years experience of high awareness, and he had this experience. Just his report, but that he realized in Virupshaka cave, I'm not that even. So even that is a state, even high state. So many things. But sometimes you don't need to experience this for 10 years to see the whole picture.
Maybe 1 minute is enough.
Sorry?
Maybe 1 minute is enough.
Yes,
And
I
then
don't need
realise-
to.
yeah,
Yes, because he had to go through this, but now he can share it with people like that. But I see the same without having been through that. So just a glimpse. Simple exercise, you just body consciousness. You stay there with body consciousness. You do like you can call it self-inquiry. Feel your eye as body consciousness, and then what is perceiving this body consciousness? Then you shift in space consciousness. You are more in space consciousness, perceiving this body consciousness, and then what is perceiving space consciousness? Then we can call it eye awareness. So like that. And you can stick to and try to stay there or there. But if you look, it's more like shifting from one to the other, or it can be simultaneous. Also, you can be in different at the same time or shifting. But all are just a different expression. But believing that one is better than the other, yes, it is relatively better to be in space consciousness. You don't feel so much the pain or the smallness to be a body like that, so it's relatively much better. But we could say that for what you are is not good enough, because it's still dependent on the state, or even higher awareness, or the blank state, or like that. You know, it's easy to understand that if you recognize the smell, it's like the smell of the controller. Who is this controller? I need to control to be in that state, or in that state, or in that state. You can recognize it. So it's always I who prefer to be here, or there, or there, or there, or there. But that, what I am, has no sense of control. That is the difference. It doesn't smell control. It's the natural state. No controller. But any state, trying to stay anywhere, is a control. And you can smell it. When you see a teacher, you can smell it. It smells like, even eye awareness is very smelly, you know, like that. It has to maybe behave somehow, in some way. You know.
So for you, mood, you smell something?
It's mixed. I would say it's mixed. For me, it's shifting from self to self expression, and sometime in awareness. So, like maybe Papaji in the early days, maybe not at the end, I don't know. I not met him, but from his book. But I feel by reading is shifting from this same message, but sometimes going into awareness. So sometimes it's like, you don't know, it's like a bit confusing. That's what I feel.
Because I have heard him saying the same as you say, that if you know that you are that, you don't need any effort. Like even he gives an example of that sometimes you have to go somewhere out of the house if you don't know you are in Tiruvanamalai, and you cannot believe that you are said you are in Tiruvanamalai, so you go somewhere to Pondi, for example, come back to Tiruvanamalai, and then you see it's Tiruvanamalai. Something like that.
Yeah, I could not really follow very well what you said, but the idea.
He said, I think I heard this video. He's talking.
Yeah, he's just using the different examples. I think the main one is about some kind of London, or maybe.
Somebody was asking what is this, and the answer is so simple that he cannot get it. So
Yes.
he has to say, okay, you go out from the gate, you take the bus, you go there, then you ask where is Tiruvanamalai. Then you come to Tiruvanamalai, you ask what is the name of this house?
Raja Yoga.
You ask where is Raja Yoga, and then you come here. Because when you said you're already here, it's not understandable. You're already here. So you have to go there and
So I feel, yeah, of course, the same message, but I feel also some kind of, this is a bit problem in my perception, that kind of control, you know, to save an image and this, and it's like it's mixed for me. It's mixed. So it's perfect as he's doing his job and like this, but you know, like how it has been said, you know, like Ramana, he will not defend himself. If somebody would accuse him about something, he will not defend inside. He would encourage people, yeah, let them say whatever they want. So when there is this kind of protection and like this, I feel some kind of, it's not clear. It's mixed. Otherwise, total carelessness, more like total carelessness. Like you can say maybe Ramana or some people like that. But it's mostly the same message. But yes, something in my ear is like that. I don't know what you can feel, but
I'm going to listen to this sometimes, so that's why I'm asking.
yeah. But notice, nothing is just don't judge anything, just observe, and be very honest. Be very honest with yourself.
This is the best because honestly, in Tiro, when I was in the satsangs, I felt like I also can speak only about my perception because my mind can create anything out of this. But in my sense perception, I was feeling tired after both the chants. And for my mind, the first one was very good, like exciting. I cried 2 times and so on. The second one was boring. And so to my mind, the second one was bad, the first one was good. But I even left 500 rupees out of okay.
Is it?
Very moody. But anyway, my body was feeling like, I don't know. Okay, maybe I would not blame moody for this body feeling, but just the very difference is like now I returned from Pondi. I have been a few days and meditated much in front of the mother's picture.
Right.
And mother was always very much conscious of her body. She always said that the divine consciousness has to be in every cell of our body. And
Good night. Thank you.
it was such a good feeling, like being in life, being in streets, like talking with somebody, even wanted to make up my face or something. It was joy of living, joy of this simple living. And with Moody it was I don't know, I didn't feel like aliveness in my body much.
Yes, I will tell you something, maybe relating to that. A lady I met came for the first time to his store, and after 5 minutes she told me she left because she was feeling not comfortable. And I told her maybe what it was. She felt like some kind of control. It's so subtle, but when you feel this energy, it's subtle. So anyway,
It's not happening.
some people, but another one I wanted to say, another friend, she went and she felt great. So everyone has to do his experience.
Yeah. Everybody has to do their specific
Yes,
thing.
yes.
Some people Muji is going to be helpful,
Yes.
some is not.
No, I mean also the expectation to feel good when you come to a satsang. Maybe you're not supposed to feel good because ego is becoming crazy. Mind is becoming sometimes with the guru telling you some truth, and the mind doesn't want to accept this, so you can start big mess.
Yeah, no,
Not
it does.
feeling good
It's always.
necessarily. Sometimes you feel good, very nice, very high, but sometimes,
You can take any expression.
yeah.
To make it simple, you see, I like this. To say it can take any expression. So so you have to. Everyone has to do his experience. And should we stop maybe because mosquitoes are coming?
I have to go.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know how to stop that. Maybe like that.